Nigeria, we hail thee, a land rich in large oil, gas, hydro, thermal and solar resources, enough to generate over 12,000 megawatts of electricity, yet producing and distributing a meager 4,000 megawatts on the average to over 200 million people. Going down history, electricity generation started in Nigeria in 1896 by the first electric utility company, known as the Nigerian Electricity Supply Company, was established in 1929. As part of the evolution in the power industry in Nigeria, the federal government, by Decree Number 24 of 1972, created the National Electric Power Authority, NEPA. In the year 2001, the reform of the electricity sector began with the promulgation of the National Electric Power Policy, which had as its goal the establishment of an efficient electricity market in Nigeria. In addition, the Power Holding Company of Nigeria, PHCN, was formed as a transitional corporation that comprises of the 18 successor companies, 6 generation companies, 11 distribution companies, and 1 transmission company, created from NEPA. By 2013, the privatization of all generation and distribution companies was completed, with the federal government retaining the ownership of the transmission company. These privatized.
It's now time to turn our attention now to the various sectors in the Nigerian polity, and it has to do with the brain drain within the system. Over the last 4 or 5 years, the brain drain has been immense as several Nigerians have sought for greener pastures outside the shores of Nigeria. And we're looking at the impact of this brain drain in various sectors. Still with us is Mazi Chinedum Obioha, a public affairs analyst, to discuss this and more with us. Mazi, thanks for staying with us.
It's my pleasure once again.
We can't deny the fact that, over the last 4 or 5 years, the rate at which Nigerians have migrated, to other climes, for greener pastures is immense. This, brain drain in various sectors has definitely affected, the polity, not just in terms of labor force, but also in terms of, skilled workers to address the various concerns we have here. So let me just get your overview first before we delve into, various sectors. What's your take about the brain drain we have in Nigeria currently?
Yeah, thank you very much. Because the system in Nigeria has collapsed, and everybody must find a way to make ends meet. People don't get satisfied with what is happening in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. Workers are not being paid. Excuse me. Yeah. The inflation is too high. Insecurity and what have you, unemployment. So people would like to go where, one, they are protected, secondly, where they can make their ends meet, and thirdly, where their services will be valued. Because it appears that in Nigeria, you don't value what you have. So that's why they decided to go where their services and their persons will be valued. So you will continue to experience that. Again, if you after graduating, you stay how many years? Which parents or whose parents will be happy that you drain out your blood to train a child with a view that after graduation that child will be able to give you back a lot of some sort of assistance or help or welfare. But unfortunately, those of us who are grandparents, instead of our grandchildren or our children to take care of us, we are still taking care of our children and grandchildren. It's a shame. It's a shame. So that is why the brain drain will continue across board. One, before we were talking about the health sector, the doctors, the nurses, but now you see professionals, the engineers, the broadcasters, and what have you, it everywhere, even laborers. They are going. Canada has opened their doors open. Say, come, because you don't value them. And that is why, instead of us to invest in production, we are consuming. That is what P2B has been saying. We will make sure that even though we should consume, we also produce. Most of the factories have been shut down. There's no production, nothing. We only based on oil. This oil will be done one day,
but Mazi,
and we'll go back to square one.
All of these things you've laid out do not seem to be in tandem with the president's 62nd day independence speech. He rated himself high, his administration high, in terms of economy, security, and all corruption. You know, he said that they've been able to tackle all of they've been able to fulfill all of the promises they made Nigerians when they were coming into office in 2015.
Was it not here last week we discussed about the governor of Kogi State?
Yes, Yahaya Bello.
Who said that this government has fought insecurity to a standstill more than he made them. What do you expect them to say? It's only in Nigeria that you be the examiner, you mark it, and you score yourself. You should allow. The Bible says, "He who praises himself is fool." That's the Holy Scriptures. Allow people to rate you. At the end of the year, as the year is running out, let me bring it to I want to understand them. Your employee has give out assessment appraisal form. All you need to do is to fill in the portion you are expected to fill in, and allow your employer, your supervisor, to assess you and rate you. You don't, give information, assess yourself and rate yourself. That is what is happening. It is the employer that assesses the employee. But we have found ourselves, the president is our employee. I hope you know that.
Yes.
He's our employee. He's not the one who said he assessed himself, he rated himself. Let me tell you one thing. Daniel in the Bible interpreted the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, and he said, look, you have been scared, you have been put on scale, and you have been weird, and the answer I guess is as good as mine. How can the president say he has done well in economy, he has done well in fighting corruption, he has done well in insecurity? Is he talking to kids?
Okay, Mazi.
So the issue is this: they will continue to deceive themselves. But my worry, I keep on saying it. I don't know why everywhere I go and say it. These people, you and I, have seen that things are not working. Okay. And the same people that cause all this wahala are the same people coming again to ask for your vote. And you people, I'm not among them. People say we will vote for them. It's my brother. It's my brother. All of them. Can they solve the problem? Okay. The answer is no.
Mazi, let's bring this back home. You know, looking at brain drain, you've mentioned several factors. Is it strictly about remuneration or working environment, or the need to have greater influence on one's own work and labor in terms of intellectual property and all? What exactly are the factors aside the remuneration that has resulted in this massive brain drain that we've had?
Yeah, when I was writing my course, one of my courses in administration, they asked me to define good working condition, job satisfaction. Job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is not in terms of money only. Okay. It's a situation where you wake up in the morning, you remember you are going somewhere, you'll be happy. The environment is happy. Then you now bring in your remuneration. Your leave allowance is paid. What time do you close? If you work overtime, are you being compensated? Then other things taken into consideration. It's not only money. The insecurity in terms of employment is not there. We have casual labor, casual workers. In the banks, go to the bank these days. I make bold to say this is national television. You see those beautiful ladies in front on the counter, dressing very well. They are all contract staff. They are not fully employed. I mean, yes, they are not on full employment. They have targets. Yeah, I remember in those days, some ladies were given targets. If you don't meet that target, you are sacked. So they are, look, When you wake up in the morning, you know where you're going, you're happy. You come to the environment, good relationship with your employers, with your co-employees, you are happy. When something, your own need is there. In fact, some companies in those when we are working, if you have a problem, you discuss with your immediate boss, he find a solution. But today, they try to swindle you. They try to outsmart, they compel you to work extra without being properly remunerated. Look at those in private primary schools. They work morning to night, and they also subject them for what they call lessons, and they are not being compensated. The same thing, I don't want to use this place as a guinea pig, but I want to say that Nigerian workers are not happy. That is why anyone that sees a way to jump out, let him jump out. But it will affect our economy. One, it will affect the production too. It will affect the development. We are not developing anything because nobody is interested. The welfare of people are not being taken into consideration. Right? Then what about the salary we are talking about? How many Nigerian workers will boast that even the 30,000 naira minimum is enough? While a bag of rice is starting more than about 38,000 naira. Then you talk about education. Now, who in Nigeria can say, I will use my 30,000 naira to train my child in one of the second universities? Do you know that there are some private primary schools that pay up to 1.something million? Secondary school, primary schools, later. But I know one of the universities, private universities, I don't want to be this, that pays up to 2.something million.
Mabazi, looking at all of these issues, you are advocating that if you find a way to get out of the country, then you should.
Not me, because at my age I can't go.
You're talking about the youthful population.
Yes.
I know, I understand. Now, there are people who would tell you, especially patriots, who would tell you that if everyone leaves, who would then stay back to build?
Let there be a good enabling environment for them to stay. You can't stay where
everyone leaves. Who would build the nation?
Look, let me tell you. In those days, I schooled at the School of Banking in Glasgow, right? Working environment, very, very good. I worked in Bank of the North. I also worked in Passport Office when it was under Ministry of External Affairs. Good working environment. By then, before 22nd, 24th, our salaries are being paid. But today, how many civil servants get his or salary until maybe second week of the next month? If you don't treat your staff well, they will leave. If you don't feed their children well, they will look for somewhere they will eat. One of my reverends said, if you don't want your members in the church, he said, if you don't want your members to leave your church, plant green grasses so that they will eat and relax. If they don't find green grasses, they will go to where they will find it. And that's why I say, he prepared a table before me in the presence. So when you don't prepare a table before your people, when you don't make things, good for your people, they will go. Certainly, look, in those days, I remembered one of my friends, a Briton, Mr. Tony, he was teaching in one of the secondary schools in Sokoto. I used to see it, but today they are running, everybody's going out because of the condition in Nigeria. They don't value education again. If people value education, why should ASU be on strike for 7 months, more than 7 months?
Mazi, the Buhari administration would tell you that no administration has diversified the economy.
Let me put it on you. Let me tell you that the Buhari administration has destroyed everything about. Let me first properly so that they will see me. I want you to judge me for what I'm saying. The level of insecurity now we are witnessing. Have you ever witnessed it? Have you ever witnessed the destruction in economy? Is it the corruption we start fighting? Is it the health sector? He came with thought. Even his wife complained that even the state clinic, there was no string, there was no cotton. Right? Then what? That is why I look at myself and say, it's an elderly person. We respect him. Why should he come if he doesn't know what to say, it's a time for them to say, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, fellow Nigerians, I failed. Forgive me. It's not my making. I don't know that those around me deceived me. So Buhari administration will tell you, like, nobody will say that his mother's soup is not sweet.
Exactly. Nobody.
You dare say it. You see, in those days, who are you to say my mother this soup I don't like? But today our children can say, mommy, I don't like this soup. So nobody will say my mother's soup is not sweet. That is what we are saying. And it's not helping matters. In the sense that instead of us to progress, we are retrogressing.
But Mazi, let's do a comparison. Let's draw a parallel now. You have been around for several seasons in the country, and we hear that back then it was even easier to get visa out of the country, and everyone even who left the country wanted to come back. It wasn't a thing of going there to stay.
Exactly.
Let's draw a comparison. What do you think we can do to change things around, especially looking at the way they were back then?
You've asked me this question time and again in the recent past. Let us get it right. Let good leaders be leaders, not rulers. What we have now are rulers. Like I have said it everywhere. I describe them as son that trouble Israel. When we get it right first, we elect good leaders. Those who have conscience, those who fear God, those who are prepared to work, those who are selfless leaders, not selfish leaders. Because what we are saying now is selfish leaders. You see, I also knew when I was doing one of my courses, he said, you don't say I. A leader doesn't say I. A leader say we. Right? Because it's a collective whatever. So, but what we say today, I remember in this country, the total budget for this country used to be 3 million naira, 3 million pounds, 10 million pounds in those days. 3 million pounds. How much was my father giving me in those days? 1 shilling. And you take me to Homeland. Even where are the Leventis today? Where are the USCs today? Where are all they say? They've all gone. You take 30 kobo, not 30 kobo. You go into Leventis, you buy so many things. Because we have good leaders. We have those who have the conscience. We have those who know that, look, it is better we make. The Bible said, the Holy Book said, a good father leaves good inheritance for his children. What are they made for us?
Mazi, let me come in quickly here. I know you're recalling the good times, but there are those who will tell you that even back then when the economy looked good, and the naira still had value, that the leaders were not good. You look at, from the First Republic down to the 60s and all, 70s, there were those who also complained about the leaders at the time.
When our Lord Jesus Christ was called the righteous man, Jesus said, no, it's not righteous, it's only his father. And among the 12, there must be Judas. I agree with you. I remember when I was writing my history of bankers in London, and I was transferring money. It was 0.87 per $1, which means naira was stronger
than the dollar.
If you doubt me, when next I'm coming, I will bring you my debit advice. You see it. Now, then,
Master, we have to wrap up.
People were having little conscience, but today they don't have conscience. People are after themselves. People, look. I went for a burial on Friday, and it was at Ebonyi vote, and the cost of the vote, where the man was buried, 50 million naira. 50 million naira. How many persons in those days was it like that? Greed, selfishness, self-centeredness that has eaten deep and into our marrows, into our bloodstream these days. People are no longer obeying God, and that is why we must get it right to come 2023. Right. If you join me, please preach to them. Let us have people who have conscience. Let us have people who have moral. Let us have people, human beings.
Master, we have to leave it here. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Very insightful right here on the show. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Mazi, have a wonderful day. And
it's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
I will take a break now. When we come back, the conversation continues right here on iBrand Daybreak.